ジタバタせずにコーヒーでも入れよう。
That'll wake you up. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Kaiju. I am Brian. There I am. And with me, who do we got this morning on this fine, lovely morning? I haven't had enough coffee yet, so you're going to have to forgive me for being slow. But look who's here.
Are you ready? Oh, good morning. Good morning.
Morning. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Thank you again for putting this together.
Thank you for joining. We also got...
Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Mike. Thanks for joining.
Oh, you're welcome.
And also joining us to wildly speculate from Collect All Monsters, David Dopko.
Ohio gozaimasu, everybody. Thanks for having me.
And it wouldn't be a Coffee and Kaiju without this fine gentleman. From the land of sky blue waters. Mr. Nev. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
And fresh from beautiful Steel City. No, I guess it's not really a Steel City. Well, wherever he's from. The birthplace of our Lord and Savior Jesus. Dutch is here.
No.
Oh, wow.
It's never going to end, is it, Brian?
I'm so glad I found you. I'm not going to leave you.
All right, I'm glad. I have you in my life forever. How's it going, guys?
How you doing, Dutch?
You know, Sunday morning. What are you going to do?
Good to see you. Nothing like a little Starship or Jefferson. Who is that? Is that just Starship?
That's just Starship, man.
Just
That was
yeah. Nothing like a little Starship to start out your morning.
It's a far cry from Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah.
All because I made the mistake of saying it was a good song on the other podcast.
Yeah, Dutch is on our Gen X podcast, and we were doing a countdown of songs from 1986, and
that isn't a mistake.
One of their songs was on there, and we were like, dude, that's one of the worst songs ever. And Dutch was like, yeah, I kind of like that other one. So that song has become his intro music now to everything now. Whenever he walks in a room, it just plays. So, hey, good morning, Ray. Thanks for joining.
What's up, Ray?
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Hey, I'm first. Who's on first? Good morning.
Apparently.
Cole, good morning, buddy. Good to see you. Hey, good morning. Damn, we got a lot of people in here this morning. Good morning. It is a star-studded panel today. It's always studded when Nev's here, though.
Always.
Who else we got here? Godzilla Man. Thanks for joining. Yeah, buddy. How about them Flyers, Ken?
Woo!
How about them Flyers?
Great win.
Me and Ken were going back and forth. I was debating. I was like, I haven't really watched the Flyers in like 10 years. And I'm afraid if I start watching them now, I'll jinx them. But I turned it on about midway through the second period, and they won 3-2. So I guess I'm good luck. So
all I'm saying is this resembles the playoff run that they made in 2010 when they got their asses kicked by the Blackhawks. But still, that was a great run. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense because he's a Pens. He would be a Pens fan. That's right. See, I'm putting two to two together. My best friend Quinn, who's also a co-host my podcast with Dutch and me, He is a Penguins fan. So, and we didn't discuss it on the episode, and I had it written down, and I forgot to bring it up. But we should have made some kind of a podcast bet.
Well, that's
good morning.
When you were like, yeah, from Steel City, I'm like, no, Pittsburgh's called the Steel City.
Yeah, you're from the Steel.
Bethlehem has had the Bethlehem Steel, but we're not known as the Steel City per se.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about hockey. We're here to talk about that trailer that dropped on was that Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
And you can't call it a trailer, a teaser. It's 49 seconds. Very the way I described it was I wasn't really sure how I felt about this movie. I really like -1 so much I was worried that, like, is this potentially going to like ruin what he made with -1? Because I know, the characters are coming back and it's set in the same universe, and I really don't want him to do anything that messes up -1 if that's possible. And
Ditto.
man, as soon as that first music stinger, as soon as that first music stinger kicked in that teaser, I was like, I'm back. Like, it just immediately had me. It looks beautiful. Just the brief stuff we saw in the trailer all looks really, really nice. Yeah, I'm very excited, but I mean, I figure we'll just go around and get everybody's like first takes on that, and then we'll just do some wild speculating for a little bit. Let the chat speculate with us, obviously. But yeah, what did you all think about that? What did you think, Rich?
Honestly, the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, you're not really giving me much to go with. But then I watched it again. David, the message I sent to you, kind of just honed in on how I felt after watching it a few more times. It was listening to the dialogue in the very start of the teaser. There was the U.S. bomber flying over the climax of -1, ready to drop a third bomb. Now, whether that was a nuke or maybe some anti-gravitational weapon or something, we don't know. But I find that more intriguing, especially for a plot device. So, love to see where that's going to go. As far as the U.S. involvement, they were there the whole time at the climax, and where we're going to go with that. But again, it's just a teaser. I don't really like jumping ahead of myself and doing all the crazy speculation. Ghidorah, this one and that one. I just want to just zero speculation for the most part and just enjoy for whatever it is that comes out.
You said something about the dialogue of the trailer, so I'll ask everybody, what did you think about the dialogue of the trailer all being in English? I thought that was an interesting choice. Do you think that was specifically done because this was a teaser for the U.S.?
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, it was a marketing play for sure. I mean, they knew that Americans weren't going to tune in the moment it started playing. I think I saw 13,000 or 15,000 people streaming the teaser. So
it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's also to signify that the U.S. is going to have a much bigger part to play in Godzilla's creation in this film. And so I think that is also true to some extent that, it's letting us know that America is going to be involved in this film. And we're not just going to sit on the sidelines like we did in the last one. And that's what I took from the English dialogue. But
they need to get, if they're going to have English actors, they got to get English actors. Like, they cannot just they can't just pull like this dude who's an actor part-time but his real job is he's a stockbroker in Japan.
Absolutely.
And he acts on the side. They got to get like real actors for this movie. Like, even in Shin Godzilla, the American acting is awful.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah, and we don't even have to go as far back as the Heisei movies where the acting was, Major Spielberg. But
Spielberg.
yeah,
Cruise missiles.
I'm kind of hoping they don't.
Whatever happened to that guy? You said cruise missile. What would you say, Nev? I'm sorry.
I hope they don't have they don't give Americans like a face. They're almost like this phantom of like they're doing this or they're not doing that.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Like throwing in a random fucking, Midwest American dude. Like we just don't. I don't think it's an additive to the story because these two characters are the most important thing since they continued, and plus Godzilla and whatever else. But like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about some random general from America. I don't think it's
No,
added.
I don't either. I feel like the way it was done in the trailer, if it was just done like that, where it was just kind of voiceover of like random happenings in DC as stuff's happening in Japan that we're actually invested in, that's cool. I'm fine with that.
They kind of did that
or
with shit, that
flashbacks
random-
and news clips would be fine too.
Yeah,
We don't have to
flashback
see them
news clips
act.
is fine.
That's
Yeah.
the way to introduce them, so we don't have to, be. I don't know. Any one of us on this panel could do a better acting job than anybody in any Godzilla film that's been so far. So
I'd say so.
I would definitely say so. I'd love to see Rich Iso in a Godzilla film. I'd pay double.
Please.
The
maybe
next Nick
triple.
Adams.
Yeah, I don't think I could do as good a job as Nick Adams. I mean, we got to go back. Let's say from the '90s onwards, though, they've been pretty terrible across the board. All of the English actors.
Russ Tamblyn on, they've been terrible, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So
Even when they did have act like Matthew Broderick sucks balls.
Ugh,
yeah, exactly.
dude,
He's
he
a
looked
terrible
like he got the
American.
script the day before, and he.
Yeah, Maria Patillo is.
I think
ugh.
the coin phoned it in the phrase phoned it in was coined during his performance. It was
It's
just
not surprising
excruciating.
at all. I mean,
He's not even the worst actor in that movie. Maria Patillo is terrible.
Ugh, awful.
I mean,
But
they're
let's
all-
let's not even do that.
We're getting off track
so-
here.
Yeah, we are getting way off track here. So I got, I'm not going to show the trailer because I don't want Toho to come to my house and beat me with sticks. But, again, a lot of this is, aftermath. Looks like it could be news type footage. It's telling you it takes place in 1949. Glad about that. I love the period setting of the first movie. So I'm glad they're continuing with that and not just doing another not an unrelated thing. This is the shot you were talking about, Rich.
There is, that's definitely a B-29, and I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be. I think it's kind of obvious that was supposed to be a third atomic bomb. Even like when they because the dialogue in the trailers, it was something to the effect of maybe we can use the third one or something at this point.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was going to be sort of like, remember when everybody was speculating when we saw the trailer for Godzilla -1, you saw the mushroom cloud and we didn't yet realize that Godzilla's, atomic breath is what causes the nuclear explosions. There were some people certain people were losing their minds about like, oh my God, is America dropping an atomic bomb? And it's like, what if they did? If that happened, if that actually did happen in the 40s, that's probably what would have gone down. So I kind of like that. I hope that they explore that in this movie, and that maybe Godzilla appearing in New York is kind of like the chickens coming home to roost for that.
That's exactly what I said in one of my comments. Like, America's chickens are finally coming home to roost for what they've done and their misuse of atomic weapons. And I love that. I love that. I know some people will get a little bit bent out of shape about it because it is kind of controversial. Because remember in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, the scene on Lagos Island where the American troops got killed, that people lost their minds. Like, oh my God, Americans are getting killed. Whatever.
You have to be the right age to remember that. But yeah, younger fans
fiction.
would not remember that. Yeah,
It's science
fans
fiction.
would not remember.
And what's great about this? You mentioned science fiction. This is historic science fiction because they're trying to keep it as close to like historical events that did take place around what's going on, and I think that is one of the strong points. And keeping it such a strong period piece, I agree that they're awesome to keep it only 2 years in the future. So.
One thing about this particular shot that kind of strikes me is like, I'm half wondering if this is, because it's in black and white, if this is supposed to be like newsreel footage that is shown in the movie. Like there was like a scout plane or something with the bomber. Just a thought.
Ooh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, or it's being filmed from another bomber.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
you know what I mean.
Like it opens up, and this is what happened over in the Pacific, but the
Yeah.
Japanese were successful, kind of deal.
Old 1940s, 50s newsreel.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
They should hire you to do that voice.
Genius.
Newsflash.
Well, we were gonna drop another one, but looks like they took care of the problem, and well, we're gonna have another one here pretty soon.
Speaking of another one here pretty soon, there's obviously this shot that ends the trailer. This, to me, like of all of the shots in the trailer, honestly, I feel like this is the weakest shot, even though it's pretty cool because it looks like they're straight reusing the CG animation and asset from the other movie, and they just stuck it in the shot with the Statue of Liberty in it. And I wonder, is this shot specifically for the trailer for American audiences?
I have a theory, honestly, Brian, because we talked about that a little bit on Gen X Lounge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember when Godzilla -1 came out. I think we got the first trailer 2 months out, like in September, because everybody was like, when are we going to see footage from this movie? And at that point, I think like it's probably safe to assume that the majority of the effects that we saw in the trailer were finalized. Now we're 7 months out from this one, so that first shot we see of Godzilla coming out of the water, he's sort of still a little bit obscured. You're not seeing details. You're seeing that he's obviously bigger. He's got like, more fins and stuff. But I think you're right. This looks like it's a CGI asset that was pulled from Godzilla -1 and put in the trailer just because maybe they didn't have enough effect shots finished to actually pad out the trailer. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this shot is in fact in the movie, but Godzilla is replaced with the one that we see earlier in the film.
Because there's no shoulder spikes in this one. That's what people were commenting on. It doesn't look like the one that we saw coming out. And then people were saying, well, maybe there's 2 Godzillas.
We went through that the first time around. That was like the rumor. That was the rumor during Godzilla -1.
Yeah,
that was. Well, there was. If you count the Odo Island dinosaur, I mean, I guess you could say there was 2, but I mean,
or this could be the regenerated Godzilla, and then the one, when he got the shoulder spikes, is after the U.S. possibly nukes him and juices him up.
Rich, me and you are on the same page. I think this is early in the movie. He shows up in the U.S. and they nuke him, and then we get the really big one that we see.
I can't see 2 Godzillas being in the film because, like any nuclear reactor, it has a core. So the core was what was regenerating. Sure, maybe Godzilla cells flew all over the place at the end of -1, but that wasn't part of the core. So that core is what regenerates into one Godzilla. So because if we had more than 2 Godzillas, you can have fucking 15 of them. In the movie, based off of how many cells split off.
So a lot of people were speculating that this may be a dream sequence and he doesn't actually really show up physically in New York. I don't subscribe to that. I think the fact that Yamazaki was in New York when he was doing his interview, I think Godzilla will definitely be in New York and maybe some other cities around the world. He's now a global threat instead of just Japan's problem. That's what I think. I don't think it's a dream sequence. I think there's too much into it to be a dream sequence. But stranger things have happened. Like
they did a Godzilla dream sequence 2 episodes back in Monarch. Just I think to only show Godzilla finally on screen. But it was cool. But hang on, I got a comment. This is a good comment here. I'm going to put Dutch up on the screen.
The layover, very important.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Godzilla. That was your.
I have to screenshot that as well. I hope Godzilla destroys Yankee Stadium with Dutch's. Dutch is a Yankees fan.
I was gonna say, is that Mark Obert in a disguise there or something? Like,
no, that's our Penguins fan. He's probably also a Pittsburgh Pirates fan as well.
Here's the thing. I mean, in Godzilla King of the Monsters, the new one, we saw Fenway Park get destroyed. So I mean, I wouldn't be, wouldn't be too pressed if they destroyed Yankee Stadium in this one. Although I hope they get the Polo Grounds at the same time. But what I was gonna say regarding what Brian, what you and David were just saying, my only thing with this shot and this possibly being Godzilla regenerated is he's obviously a lot larger than the Statue of Liberty in this shot because he's at the very end, you see him sort of disappear behind it. And that makes him a lot larger than he was in Godzilla -1. That's most number one. And number two, I would find it weird if his regeneration was a perfect match to what he looked like in the first film, because every time we saw him regenerate after damaging Godzilla -1, it was imperfect, like especially like in his face, like it was a little bit more deformed.
There were still scars there and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, it's so early on, but like that's what would kind of make me think that maybe this is just a placeholder.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at a little bit with it too. Another shot that
kind of cool.
Oh,
Though.
go ahead.
That dream
Yeah.
sequence is kind of cool, just because that always too, like when he did that, like that was a dream sequence.
Oh yeah,
It'd be
that's
kind of
great.
funny if this was also a dream sequence of like how
Yeah.
you know
Could be.
pilot.
Shikishima is clearly traumatized too, so
Oh yeah.
it could be a dream sequence.
Yeah,
And he did have dreams of the Odo Island incident in Godzilla -1, so he could still be having PTSD from that. That's a good speculation as well.
Yeah.
And it could also just be another
I like that,
like
so we'll see.
emphasis that America is involved. America's going to be in this one. Like we've got something to do with this. So I think again they're really pushing that narrative. I
we're
think
involved in too
that-
much shit already. We don't even-
Yeah.
Yeah. And then perfect timing on this comment, because I was going to show this next clip or this next shot, but bring on
Oh
the
my God.
anti-gravity anchors, which leads
Please
to
don't.
this.
Please don't.
Please don't. I was going to say, please, yes. Let's.
Yeah, don't. Let's not. No.
But what is
No,
so? What
no,
is
no,
what
no.
is your interpretation of this shot? Of this sequence where
This
he's flying through
this I think could be some kind of a surreal dream sequence, honestly. But because it's like people are speculating, Angiras, they're speculating Ghidorah, but like it's blue, so it's got the color that's associated with Godzilla. I mean, that's just the weird thing. We're just extrapolating here. Like we know nothing about what any of this is.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a weapon. It's a new weapon that they're trying to kill Godzilla with. That could be, or something that actually makes him, bigger and badder. Like I don't know. Angulus is lifting buildings with his mind. Oh gosh.
Let me tell you how nuts the speculation for this one shot has gotten.
It's
I
crazy.
have seen people say the arcs of this lightning
Yeah.
are Dogger's tentacles, and if you
I've
listen
seen
really
it.
closely,
I've
you
heard
can
that
hear
too.
him.
I've heard
Yep.
that too. I've heard Dogura.
Come on.
Can you imagine if he
Come
like
on.
did that? Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
It reminds
Yeah,
me of
but-
Battling Out of Space, the end of that movie, but I doubt we're
That's
getting
what I was
space
thinking. I was
I
thinking
doubt we're
that
getting
too,
space
Mike.
aliens. Come on.
No. Can you imagine if it just went straight to space aliens in the second movie?
I mean, I
The
don't
shot
think
looks weird too, because like there's like this light source on the left, and then that blob in the top right is all grayed out. Like it's almost like they removed something, like Marvel's done.
Yeah.
In the past,
Because Marvel is known to do that in their trailers.
they
They will edit things out, or they will put things in it that aren't in the remember
Right.
in the Infinity War trailer, Hulk was running with the Avengers on Wakanda, and that ended up being the Hulk Buster armor in the actual
Yeah.
movie. So
Yep.
Marvel is big on doing that. They also eliminate.
anything.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, this blue could all be recolored yellow
could be.
later on.
Well,
And
the
it could
shot
be
might not even be in the movie.
Or yeah,
right.
So,
Like Mike said, like remember Rogue One, they had the image of what's her name going out onto that platform, and the TIE fighter comes up, and that never showed up in the final movie. So it could be like we're not gonna actually put this in. So who knows? We don't know anything about
I
that.
just realized the airplane's in the center of that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a person there, but that's too big for a person.
Yeah.
Flying around
So
here,
I
but-
think a couple things. This looks like it is coming from the ground, not from the sky. So could
Yeah.
be
yes, it does.
just
come out of the
Godzilla
ground,
like
right.
charging up his atomic,
That was-
breath.
Oh, that's a good like.
I was
that's a
just
good
I was gonna say that, like,
interpretation,
what if that's just like a byproduct of like his new form, like maybe from his fins, like he just causes shit to just fly up and like I don't know.
Yeah,
Or if he's
I mean,
inhaling,
or-
if he does a big inhale before his big exhale,
Well,
it could soak
remember like
things
how
up.
he charged up, like he was
Yeah.
like
He kind of sucked everything in.
Yeah,
And yeah, no, it's crazy. I don't
Maybe
think
it's-
or
anybody
it's a nuclear
was.
pulse. Brought
Maybe
back,
if it's
you know?
maybe it's his breath just blowing things up into the air. You don't
Yeah.
you don't know.
It's going to be a simple solution. What you watch is going to be something really easy, and we're like, oh right, we should have known that. I don't think
I know
anybody
exactly
was
what it
disappointed with the
Somehow
trailer. Do you
Palpatine
guys think?
survived. And it's
Oh
force-like.
no, Rich! Oh, no. Somehow Palpatine survived.
Yeah,
I don't,
maybe
I
it
don't
is
think
Palpatine.
any fans were disappointed with this trailer. I think everybody was stoked that it wasn't just a black screen, footsteps, and text.
But the
Yeah.
important thing is to not read so much into it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
not worth
But
it.
this is our
we can have
community. They're
fun.
going to read into it. They're going to
Yeah.
totally read into it.
Well, there's a
gonna read
difference
into it.
between having fun speculating, which is we're kind of doing, and being so certain
Oh,
that
very
Oh,
certain
yeah.
that yes. Oh yeah.
So
I've seen a
certain
lot
are
of
you?
I've seen a lot of certainty of things where I'm just like, how can you be certain of anything in this trailer other than Godzilla's in it? and two of the main characters are returning from the other movie. But other than that,
That's it.
there's really nothing that.
And America will have something to do with it. That's fine. We can believe that.
All right.
I've seen a lot of speculation on this shot too, like what is coming down
because
behind these people.
Either it's not finished, or we can't see what's doing that. Is that Godzilla, or is that somebody?
Is
else?
it a Godzilla's foot? Is King Ghidorah landing? Is it is Anguirus about to unleash his anti-gravity beams out of his butthole? Who knows?
Mothra again?
Yeah, it could be Bagan for all we know.
Bagan confirmed.
It could be the smog monster. He could be. Yeah. I mean, there's still that possibility that, because he's such a fan of that creature, and he did say in multiple interviews that he wants to utilize that monster in the future. So I don't know if it's right for this particular film, but
I take Ghidorah over King Ghidorah at this point.
I would too, because we've seen.
I would love a modern Ghidorah.
Me too.
Yeah, I think we all modern special effects Ghidorah would be.
Me too.
Would be really cool
in this time period as well.
Oh hell yeah! I saw today on. I mean, this is like speaking of how wild some of this stuff gets. I saw today on Reddit this morning in the Godzilla Reddit group, somebody said at CinemaCon, which just ended. There was footage shown of Rodan appearing and being killed within 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
And then there were a ton of comments, and then buried down in the comments was a guy that was like, "I was at CinemaCon. That is not true." So it just
half the people in that group are 12, Brian.
Yeah, it just takes one person to make up to make something up, and now it's on the internet.
Let's go back to Godzilla 2014 # Rodan confirmed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. Shot of Muto, yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, the icing on the cake of the trailer is this quick sequence, which is just freaking incredible. I mean,
look at those.
It's hard to make out shapes and things with the water, the way the water is rolling off of him and everything. But he looks,
guys.
It's obviously Super Godzilla from the Nintendo game. From the Super Nintendo game, excuse me.
It's a juvenile space Godzilla.
Yeah, so, but man, he looks cool. So, I mean,
he looks like an angry old man.
He does.
Look at that face.
Great shot, though. I'm excited. I think, like I said, most of my fears were kind of put to rest just by the trailer. I mean, it could still come out and be terrible. Anything could be terrible. But I trust this guy. He seems to know what he's doing. My only real fear is that the two main characters went through so much in the first movie. I really don't need them to go through more horrible shit. If it didn't focus on them, I would actually maybe be a little more excited. I don't, if they were more like background characters and it focused on a couple of new main characters, and they were maybe there for continuity, in a way like how Dr. Yamani's in Godzilla Raids Again briefly, or something like that. But
but do you think they're going to do anything with that final shot that we saw?
I hope not.
With sort of like the fin appearing on her neck, or like the shape of the.
I hope not, because I don't, like I said, we talked about it on the podcast, Dutch, a few episodes ago. Like I really don't need to see like this character I cared about and was sad when she died and then was happy when she wasn't dead. I don't need to see her turn into some kind of giant freak monster and have to die in the next movie.
I wouldn't want to see that, but it would be actually in the same way that it would be cool to kind of explore like the American involvement in Godzilla's creation and actually show some consequence to that. Just sort of like the human, the effect like on the human level, like not her becoming a giant monster per se, but like,
having like some kind of connection to Godzilla, maybe.
It would be a really, really tough line to walk because of just how sensitive like the aftermath of the atomic bombs were in real life, and it's like how you got to be real careful with how you choose to translate something like that into entertainment.
Yes,
and have it not be exploitative and just in bad taste.
And they're really sensitive about that kind of thing in Japan too, right? So
for sure, the episode of Ultimate
tread lightly on that. Yeah, but I think it would be. I kind of disagree, Brian. I think it would be a disservice if they don't reference it like in some kind of a main way, because they took such effort to show it
To show it, yeah.
that teaser. If they don't reference it, I think that's a big
well, they have to
missed
reference it. That's the thing.
They have to reference it, and
Yeah.
they have to tell us what happened. It doesn't have to be her turning into a giant mutated monster. They could cure it. I mean, she could have some kind of a psychic connection with Godzilla.
You know, even if they don't reference it, I'm happy they're in the film because at least it anchors it to the first one. And
of course, continuity
I mean,
is key.
Once you
especially
start
if it's 2
cutting
years
out
later.
once you start cutting out characters, it gives them more free reign to get a little crazy, to break free of the first one. I'd rather everybody knows how I am. I don't like a lot of new Godzilla stuff, but -1 has been my favorite Godzilla anything for like 25 years, and I want to see them follow this one right. And I want to see the characters continue. I want to see proper continuity in a Godzilla movie, not it's set in the same universe, but all those characters in the last one, no. Like even SOS, it's like, no, they're all gone. We have new characters now. I want to see like a real continuity, but also I want to see them continue with just the themes and just the overall vibes of the first one. You start breaking free too much and you start adding a lot of other crap, it turns into a different kind of film entirely. Like when I hear people say, "Oh yeah, King Ghidorah," and I'm thinking, does that really work for -1's universe? Or even Mothra? I don't know what I want to see yet.
I think a grounded monster works better.
A grounded monster.
Like Rodan or Angus.
Rodan would be perfect,
or
Brian.
Varan. Or
something created
Aragon,
the same way Godzilla did.
Titanosaurus.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you guys. We've never seen a Godzilla movie that was we've never seen a follow-up to a solo Godzilla film with another film that just featured Godzilla and it was just Godzilla against humanity again. Yeah. Would you guys be okay with just Godzilla being in this film and there not being another monster?
100%.
I just started this comment and there it is.
We don't need 100%. Monster fights in every Godzilla movie. I'm sorry. We don't.
Yeah, I'd be fine with this too.
The strongest Godzilla movies for me, from my perspective, are the ones Godzilla versus Man. And I love even the sequences when he's fighting other monsters, like Mothra versus Godzilla. Most of the movie, he's just fighting against Man. And I think that is just it's just a serious, strong point in these films, and I would not be mad at all, even if there's a brief like monster in it for like a minute. It doesn't have to be like a huge battle. I mean, we get that in other films. It doesn't necessarily need to be in this movie.
Yeah,
and it has to be done just right too. Like Mike was saying, like I'm not sure who I want in there. Who's going to be able to stand up in this universe and fit in?
Here's the other thing, David. I've said this before. I know I have. -1 was a big enough deal technically that it won the Academy Award here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm having such a hard time picturing even where we are now in 2026, Toho having the technical proficiency to do a CGI monster battle in a way where audiences here are going to look at that and not say, "Oh, yeah, monsters bumping into each other again. Here we are. We're back to this again." I don't want to get back to that. I mean, I'd love to see them do it right if they do it, but I am afraid they're going to screw something up and retroactively hurt the first one.
I agree.
With general, not with us because we know better, but with general audiences here. I don't want them to see a sequel and say, "Oh, it's this again." And I think they're smarter than that now, but I am worried about that.
And I was going to say, piggybacking off of what you just said, David, one of the things, think about like in scenes throughout we're talking like 54 through now, through Godzilla -1, think of how many times like human beings have had to come up with it's not just tanks firing at Godzilla. They've had to come up with plans and like things to do. Like, and you mentioned Mothra versus Godzilla, dropping the nets and shooting the electric bolts at Godzilla. Godzilla -1 was awesome because they came up with a science-based way to kind of combat him. And in like Godzilla 84, it was using cadmium because that's what they used to seal nuclear reactors. In Godzilla versus Biollante, one of the coolest aspects of that whole movie was the anti-nuclear energy bacteria. It's like the idea of attacking Godzilla biologically using his own DNA.
And it's all plausible.
Yeah. And it just works great. So I'm like, what could they do if Godzilla comes back bigger, meaner, better? And how could they fight him off this time, especially with the technology of 1949?
That's the key. That's what Mike was saying too. It has to fit into this universe. And I'm thinking that scene of the destruction could be another micro black hole, maybe. I'm kidding.
Well, I'm like the one thing I don't want to
Micro
see,
black hole.
which I'm glad it's
Black
set
hole.
because we're not going to see Godzilla combat teams. We're not going to see maser cannons. We're not going to see stuff like that. Keeping it decades ago at least means what they do is going to be grounded and practical.
And
I
thinking
hope.
about what was the most powerful weapon that was in existence in mankind in 1949? Nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Mechagodzilla.
How do we feel about they're going to introduce the oxygen destroyer in this one? Do you think that is a possibility? Because that's been floating around too, and that came into.
I
my
sure hope
mind.
it's done better than when they introduced it in the Legendary universe.
But they just
God.
did that in the MonsterVerse. I feel like
it was there and then gone.
I mean, but let's do it right this time. I mean,
but then you're just copying the older films again, though. I feel like it's like, oh, 54 did it, so here's
there was a part of me who wanted to see the oxygen destroyer in -1. Like I was like, and then I thought about it, and what you guys just said, like it has to correspond with the technology of the time, and even that was a little bit outlandish, even for 1954. But we'll see. Like,
it made sense. Like it was kind
crazy.
of like, yeah. And for me, I don't know if I'd want to see the oxygen destroyer, to be honest, because that device is tied so specifically to the tragedy of Dr. Serizawa in the original Godzilla, and it's like it's hard to separate those. That's why I think that Godzilla versus Destroyer really kind of missed an opportunity to bring that weapon back and have it have a bigger role in the film. They mentioned it. They were like, they talking about micro oxygen and that, and then it just kind of goes nowhere. And then we just have, the monster destroyer, not to get like off topic, but I wouldn't want to see it just because of how much it's glued to the tragedy of Serizawa.
That's a good point. And let's just leave it. It kind of stands alone. I think that's a good point.
I'm going to put a pin in this comment and come back to it in a little bit, because this is an interesting, because I do want to do a brief, maybe before we end this, touch on Monarch really a little bit, because it's almost over. But I'm going to put a pin in that comment. But I think I agree with that. Like, I'm fine with there not being another monster. I'm fine if they do a monster that's like, I just don't want it to go from
what
it was
to be though
to super duper sci-fi. Would I like to see what this guy could do with King Ghidorah? Absolutely. And like, maybe if they do another, or if this series continues, maybe they'll start doing some time jumps, where maybe the next movie takes place in 1965 or something like that, or because I think, once you've said like we can do Japan in the 40s, you can do anything at that point. Right. I mean, because if you've got the technology and the CGI and the ability to build a Japanese a realistic 1940s Japanese backdrop for your movie, why not take it to that level? I was talking to Rich about I've been watching this show called For All Mankind, which is about the space race, and if it's about if the Russians got to the moon before the United States, so it's like an alternate history, and it jumps around a lot. So like from season 1 to season 2, it goes from like mid 70s, and now we're in 1983. For the next season, it's still all the same characters. They've just aged them up. So I think, the potential to keep, I think the potential to keep going.
Go get a refill, my friend.
Yeah, go grab a refill.
Gotta make more.
But yeah. So yeah, I think everybody, like I said, I'm psyched. I mean, everybody here, I would assume, is day one IMAX viewing.
I'm taking a day off for this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I think
Brian,
you and I
premiere.
I was gonna say you and I know we're gonna be at IMAX King of Prussia for that.
Yeah,
one.
we're gonna. Yeah,
taking the day off. A very bad habit of ruining things day of. So I'm going to the first screening I can get to.
I'm gonna try to get myself into the opening in LA. So
I'll say, as someone who with Dutch and he can vouch, because we went to the sneak peek in IMAX of -1.
Great night.
And I really did a great job of avoiding spoilers. I knew nothing about the movie going in, nothing. And I just remember right after the Odo Island scene, looking over at Dutch and just being like, Dude, this movie
is the
is
best
fucking incredible.
I remember exactly what. Well, because I said you took the words out of my mouth. You leaned over and you're like, "This is the coolest thing they've done with Godzilla in like 20 years at least."
Yeah,
And
dude,
was like,
I just could not believe
the Odo Island scene was so fucking good.
It was unexpected and brutal, and it starts off with a starts
But I mean,
the movie off
just
with a bang.
even before that, the shot of just the plane flying over the ocean
Mhm.
that opens
Beautiful.
the movie.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
it's so
I mean,
good.
Cinematic.
I've
It
said
does
before,
not
it's
look like
it
a
is the
Godzilla.
most. Yeah, it's the most cinematic Godzilla movie I think
it's
that
amazing
we've probably
how well
ever gotten.
shot it is.
Ever.
So Rich Iso and I had a conversation many years ago. I think a couple other people were involved, and we talked about what we would want for our perfect Godzilla movie. And this is -1 is almost it. The only thing that's left out for me is I wanted more backstory on Odo Island. I wanted to know about the dinosaur. I wanted to know why the islanders, where he came from, how long the dinosaur's been around there. That is something that they can do. Go back maybe in the future.
You could definitely.
And do like a story about the Odo Islanders and how Godzilla got there, and then the ending would be just the last part, the when he gets irradiated.
Yeah.
So I think that's missing, because the only thing they said was kind of bummed me out. My only criticism is, what is that thing? Oh,
it's
Islanders call it
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Okay,
Yeah, it's
all right.
called Godzilla,
Okay,
yeah.
good enough for me.
The,
I wanted more. I want to see the exorcism ritual. I want to see the Tengu masks. I want to see all that. That
Rich is going crazy in the background. What do you?
Yeah.
I know, Rich. You remember that conversation, right? I mean,
No, but yes. But no,
dude, shut the fuck up.
I mean, I do, but I don't remember like in detail like you do. But I remember the conversation. But you're poking my brain from like 5 minutes ago, because I was thinking the same thing. First question: how old is the legend of Godzilla? On Odo Island. I would love if, let's just say, it's like feudal Japan, and we go back to a scene.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yes.
Then it could be like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Doesn't need to be long drawn out, where they're worshiping Godzilla on Odo Island, and
sacrificing the girl on the raft. The whole thing.
Like that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I agree.
that would be cool.
I agree. Yes, please.
Yeah, I just I don't think, no matter how good this movie is, that I'm ever going to get that experience again from a Godzilla movie, because it was so unexpected.
Well, now you have some idea what to expect.
Pushed you back in your seat.
And now I'm going to go in there with preconceived ideas of what this should be,
We all are.
Picture Yamazaki. Picture that Yamazaki maybe knows that, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna."
Maybe
subvert your expectations.
Yeah, maybe he could. Really. Look, his debut Godzilla movie was essentially borderline perfect. So,
yep.
He's got big shoes to fill.
Lightning can strike again. I mean, look at the
Empire Strikes Back.
Look at Superman 2. Look at Aliens. I mean, it is possible to have the next film be amazing or as good, or even in some instances better than the original. Godfather 2.
What if this is Terminator 2 to Terminator?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, there is like, people say, it can never happen again. Well, it has happened again with some of our favorite films.
Godzilla has a track record for the second movie in the series not being as good as the first. Or if it's better, at least box office. Like Biollante did worse in '84, Megaguirus did worse in 2000, Raids did worse than the first one. I'm kind of hoping that this sequel changes that finally, and we get a Godzilla sequel to a reboot that's actually better. Because Toho has a really bad track record of not being able to follow up a reboot or a first one, but it's the same guy making this movie. So I think that I have high hopes for it. I just hope he doesn't go crazy for the sake of going crazy, just to show us, like you said, hey, I'm going to defy your expectations. Here's 3 King Ghidorahs or something nuts like that. I don't think he's going to do that. That's kind of crazy, but who the hell knows, right?
I mean, I have so much trust in what he does based on Godzilla -1 that it's like I'm ready for whatever. It's like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, hell yeah. There you go.
That's
a definite improvement over the second.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, and I have my expectations were I had like reserved expectations. Now, like, I'm really expecting to be as good as the first one, and I know that might be not a good way to be, but I really loved the trailer. I was not mad at anything in the trailer at all. Like,
I really think that if
they're doing that,
I really think that if Toho allows him to go, because one of the things that's been like sort of happening in recent years for whatever reason is like Toho has almost been trying to kind of like distance themselves or distance Godzilla from the nitty gritty of like being a nuclear, being created by nuclear weapons and stuff like that. So that's why they have like these rules now. You know, you have to call his atomic ray a heat ray and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they'll just let Yamazaki kind of cook, you know, for lack of a better term, and like that's why I want to see like this, like sort of the political ramifications of the possibility of using a third atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Because I think if you go with that, you can have a Godzilla solo story again, but then you're bringing in this other layer that we've never explored before that could actually, like somebody just mentioned, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That movie works so well because it's diametrically different, opposed from the first film. It's like a political Cold War thriller, and I think like if we go that route with Godzilla, then you have a new interesting film, same universe, but
dives deeper, dives way
Yeah.
deeper. And if they have the courage to do that, I think we're all in for like a really great movie.
You know-
I know it won't be without controversy. Some
Yeah.
people will get bent out of shape about it, but I think it's about time. And I think the time is right in the world for us to see.
You know,
this
what I
kind of
think
thing.
has really changed a lot about Toho in the past few years is I know they've always wanted Godzilla to be this big international thing, but it finally is.
Yeah, it really is.
Like it took 70
I mean,
years, and Godzilla
yeah.
finally this huge international thing that's just as big here. I mean, you can build a collection room just of the crap they're putting out just in this country now. Finally, it's the first one they really can. I can say that.
dude,
But
throw
now-
a rock and you'll find a store or something that has
Yeah,
Godzilla
I mean,
merch.
Ross Dress for Less. You can buy Godzilla toys.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Toho knows this finally, and they know if they keep putting restrictions on the character the way they used to, it's going to hinder it. And I think they're finally able to say, you know what? Maybe you should do what you want. Get bigger, get bolder. Godzilla is international now. Americans gave him an Academy Award. Look how much money he made over here. Go nuts. And I think,
Yeah, I mean, think
that's
back to that.
That's what's changed really big with this character.
Yeah.
And it's only been like 5 years of this less.
Yeah, think back to that theatrical run and how like fun that was, because remember it was only supposed to be like a week,
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh no, they're gonna do another week. Oh no, now it's been 3 weeks. Oh look,
And
it's
then-
still making $1
and
million
then minus
a day
color.
somehow.
Then they did minus color, Brian.
Yeah,
I mean,
so,
they
yeah,
even
it's
went
pretty-
a step further.
It was
so
pretty.
it's-
That was a wild. Looking back on that, even though it wasn't that long ago, it's a pretty wild time as a Godzilla fan to finally be like, be able to like beat your chest a little bit and be like, yeah, goddamn, that's right. Like
People
he is the shit.
Up to me
Like,
what I thought of the movie. It's
Yeah.
like the second time I saw it, I looked behind me and there were two old ladies watching it. Like
Yeah.
that was so surreal to see
yeah,
something.
I watched it with my parents. And they were
Subtitle.
both,
And all
Really
word of
watch.
mouth.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
totally. Because very little, and I can just say this: like Keith loves really certain movies, but I can put this movie on any day of the week, and he'll sit down and watch the whole thing with me.
I think
I
I'm
have
gonna
a-
watch it
That's
every
I
saying
have a-
something right there.
I have a really close friend who doesn't like Godzilla. I've shown him a few Japanese ones. He doesn't care for it. But I said, you know what? You need to see -1. Just sit there, watch -1. I know you don't like it. First of all, when the mine hit Godzilla in the face, he shouted. He was like, holy shit. He wasn't expecting that. And when the movie ended, I'm like, okay, what did you think? He's like, that was good. And
Yeah,
for him to say that,
really good.
like he's not a fan at all. He wouldn't have gone to see this movie in the theater. But now that I showed it to him, he was like, wow,
Yeah.
that was good. And I think for a lot of non-fans, that was -1. They were shocked at how good a Godzilla movie actually could be.
It was a good movie that happened to have Godzilla in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which leads me to this, and this should be. I'm going to wrap up the discussion on it with this comment, which is this: the human story was so good in that movie, and
Mhm.
like to me, yeah, you could take Godzilla out of that movie, and as much as I love Godzilla, replace him with generic monster, and if the movie had the same human story, I think it would have been just as good of a movie.
I
And
agree.
I
it's
say that
better
as
'cause
a
he's in it,
diehard
but-
Godzilla fan. And nothing annoys me more than the subset of fans that hate any time any human characters on screen. They don't want it. They don't want to see it. They hate the 60s movies because the human stuff's boring and blah blah.
How many people were saying there's so much drama? That was so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, like so. Yeah,
That's your TikTok generation there.
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Attention span
but
of
yeah.
30 seconds.
yeah, exactly.
I care about these movies most when I give a shit about the characters involved. Godzilla 54 doesn't work without the Serizawa, Ogata, and Emiko.
Yep.
Triangle.
Love
The
triangle.
triangle is a huge,
Doesn't work. It
huge
doesn't-
part of it.
Like Serizawa doesn't relent. He doesn't. None of that works. Monster Zero does not work without Glenn and Fuji. It just
No.
I was going to
doesn't.
say that. Yep, it's all about that.
But even
It's our
a
strongest
cheap movie
movies.
like Godzilla versus Gigan doesn't work without.
Dude, I love every human
Oh my
character in
God,
Godzilla
yeah.
versus Gigan is just great.
Godzilla,
Yeah.
I love any day of the week. I can watch Godzilla
Yeah.
vs. Gigan. Love that movie.
Both the 70s Mechagodzilla movies have great characters. Like all
Yeah.
those, the Sea Monster, Godzilla versus Sea Monster. You could take the monster stuff out, and it would still be a fun adventure movie.
Totally, it would
Yes,
be like a
it's a great
James Bond
adventure
adventure.
movie.
Yeah,
The same with Son of Godzilla. Great,
Yeah.
great cast.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dude, I would even say Godzilla's Revenge or whatever the fuck people are calling it now.
yeah.
It doesn't
I
work
agree.
if you don't have all that Honda stuff with the working parents and this poor kid being left at home.
And
It
that
works
movie's
because
so-
of that stuff.
We should do an episode on that movie because that movie's so misunderstood.
Oh,
And
can we
I
please?
I love that movie.
I would definitely love to do that because I misunderstood that movie for a long.
Oh, a lot of people
I think
did,
we all
yeah.
did. We all did.
Yeah.
It's just knowing what his intention was, and
I connected with that one from the very first time I saw it, so I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah. All right, real quick, because we all collect crap. Anybody got anything new? I know Nev, you got some cool shit. So I'm gonna put you on the screen.
Oh, I'm on the screen now.
You're on the screen, baby.
I got these from Target. Like I said, the new action figure line. I guess they repurposed or rebranded them called Rampage. Godzilla 2003. Kiryu, which they call multi-purpose fighting system Kiryu, which is kind of crazy. But,
well, that sums it up.
It is a multi-purpose.
Toho hasn't changed that much in some ways.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay,
they're
cool.
for $26. They're pretty solid.
Yeah, that's cool. And
Yeah.
show that big boy.
Yeah, the big boy, the Kaiju Smuggler 62 is probably.
That is amazing.
I think it's the figure of the year so far.
Definitely need that.
That's so.
It's heavy. The vinyl stick almost reminds me of the Vinyl Paradise stuff from back in the day.
Oh wow,
It is fantastic. It's almost X plus quality. So
That's awesome.
You lose.
It's so
yeah,
nice, man.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's so
I love
rad.
the tree. The tree is such a great little
tree makes
feature,
it cool.
little thing.
Yeah, it's super
Fantastic.
cool.
So,
And then David, I know you got a few odds and ends, right? You
Yeah,
got
I
that
a few
beautiful.
things. Speaking of big, chunky boys, I got this Planet X
Nice.
Asia Girasse figure.
Nice.
Really cool. You bet your ass it's cool.
You
And
bet
he
your
also
ass.
Comes with a. I know it's too early in the morning. Comes with an alternate head with the frill.
Oh,
ripped
cool.
off.
That's
So
awesome.
You can create your own hybrid
Yeah.
Godzilla, the body
Yeah.
of the 64 and the head of the 66. So that's
Yeah.
what Girasse is. So very, very cool. And
That's
then
cool.
one more thing I want to show you guys. I got from Jonathan Portman. Went to the One Up pop up in Monster Patrol Toys in LA, and he got me this One Up 64 Godzilla.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Super
paint
cool.
job.
Interesting colorway, and then he got the little Mothra on his tail.
That's
little
fun.
feature.
That's
it.
cool.
So yeah, I just thought, oops, there goes Mothra. That's what
Aw.
it does. It just falls
Yeah,
off.
that's cool.
I don't have anything in this colorway, so it really stands out in my collection shelf. So
That's awesome.
very cool. Thanks for letting me share.
Anybody else got anything new?
I got a couple of new Bandais, but nothing all that amazing.
Same.
Same.
Bandais are amazing. Let's see them.
I got these are both the premium figures. So I got the 68, which is the old 68 from the Memorial box, but a closed mouth. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
oh,
if I
grabbed-
like
I
this one
grabbed
as
that
much.
one.
Yeah.
It's nice. I don't know if I like it as
Nice,
much as the
cool.
original, but the Mothra comes with.
Nice.
First
Oh,
Bandai,
wow. Okay.
First Bandai 68
Awesome,
Mothra.
awesome.
Got red eyes in it. I think it's a little too small.
Maybe a little
Eh.
bit.
I don't know. That prop is pretty. Have to
Yeah.
compare.
I mean, it's got the overlapping fingers. David knows I love that.
Oh, you love the overlapping fingers. That's your
And
thing. Yeah.
mouse is. I don't know if I like the paint on the teeth, but I think the sculpt is good.
Yeah, I like the sculpt.
And I kind of regret this one because I thought it was going to be tweaked. It's premium 65, which I already have. Nothing different about
It's
it.
the
No
same
I grabbed-
stuff, yeah.
I grabbed that one too.
I mean, I thought it was going to be tweaked a bit, and I thought they were coming tagged. But these things come in these huge rectangular boxes, which makes
There,
it know
makes the
shipping
shipping.
so much more money.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I thought this would at least have a tag on it, so it would make it different from my Memorial Box one. Yeah, it exists, and I don't like
Yeah.
the premium figures because they're nearing $85 at this point. For what? For this?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Bandai is out of control, and I kind of want that Giga Biolante. You know,
Well,
Yeah.
funny.
The destroyer is up there.
Didn't you get the big
Yeah.
buy one tape? Yeah, I was gonna say Dutch. Didn't you
Oh,
get
you
that?
did.
there it is.
Okay.
That's nice. That looks great.
Yeah,
It's real
this is-
nice, dude.
This is pretty sweet. I
Yeah.
can't lie.
Okay, you gotta sell me on that.
Is that the speaking of Giros, I did pick up also the Bandai
Very nice,
Premium
Giras. Oh, nice.
Giros. What else? Got the final the Rebirth Godzilla from Destroyer.
Oh, hold that one up again. That one's nice. Hold that one up again.
This one is
that's
actually
really
really nice.
Nice blue on the dorsal.
Yeah, I like the
plates.
blue on the dorsals.
It's another
Really
premium
Right,
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had to get the 84 poster version with
Nice.
the Super X because it's Godzilla 84. And probably my favorite newer figure. I really love this new Godzilla.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got to get that.
I'm waiting for the Godzilla store to put that up on the U.S. site, which might
Now-
be a while still.
My only thing with this is now we have Super X 1 and 2. Why did Junior not come with a Super X 3 to complete that?
Dutch, they're probably going to do a meltdown Godzilla and put the Super X3 with him.
Oh.
They haven't done a meltdown yet with that sculpt.
Okay, you know what? Yes,
Probably going to do a
that's good point.
meltdown because they're running out of Destroyer stuff to do. And they're also doing on the Godzilla store a Hedorah 71 Godzilla holding the orbs.
The eye. Well,
The eyes,
according
whatever.
to
Fun eyes.
according to Nakano, the eyeballs. I mean, people have had theories about what.
And then we
those
got, by the time we got June, we got a 66 Godzilla, which I'm wondering if they're
That's
going
the one
to
I
take this
need.
and redo the head.
Hmm.
A 67 Godzilla in the posing series. So what he's going to be doing, I don't know. Maybe hugging Minya. A 92
Oh.
Godzilla and a new Space Godzilla sculpt. That should all be out by June, July. And those are just retail, thank
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
At least they're
Yeah.
not premium figures.
Good God.
I'm excited about the 67. 67 is having its moment. People are like coming around to that suit. I think they're digging it. There's there's a Club 84. Like John's definitely a member of that. I think there's a Club 67 now. People are.
But like a
Sign me up for that
66,
one.
a 66 Godzilla, they're gonna give it like the deformed face. Well, how are they gonna do that?
That's what I would be hoping. Like the way it looks towards the end of the movie. I think that would be cool.
You got anything new, Rich?
Yeah. Couple things. I'll be quick. So I picked up the Haya, however you pronounce it, Godzilla 91. Pretty
That's
freaking
awesome.
dope.
That's
Not gonna
nice,
lie.
That's awesome.
Yup.
Yeah.
And I got the Ghidorah right behind him. Once I got this one, I'm like, you know what? He needs a friend. We all know we all need friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I got this out of the box, I was like, the first thing that stuck out, nothing fell off.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask you that question. I was just going to ask
Literally
that.
nothing.
It's
like,
monster arts, but better.
Oh, look at that!
And
man.
way
Okay,
cheaper.
That's great. That's great.
nothing falls off. So,
Mhm.
awesome. I'm gonna do reviews on that.
Somebody make a GIF of
Rich-
Rich
of Rich
shaking that,
shaking it up.
violently shaking,
Just like
violently
wild.
shaking that toy.
That's
Yeah, the
that's
other-
the best endorsement you could give it. Honestly.
A couple. I picked up. It's downstairs. I didn't bring it up. This new Sofubi Space Godzilla from Strange Gallery. So
Oh, yeah.
I took some pictures of that. But honestly, a couple things that non-Godzilla related, but Japan related. David, you weren't with us when we went in 2015 to Tokyo Tower.
I
So,
was not.
I
was
took
not.
that picture in 2015.
Oh, that's
So,
a beautiful photo.
Daytime shot. When I went in 2024, I took this shot at nighttime.
Man,
I
that's
finally got
beautiful.
that one printed up on canvas. I'm gonna get them hung up
Phenomenal.
in the house, and then it's not a very good shot over there. This is coming.
Oh, yeah,
this
it's
is
cool.
a photo I took. I guess I'll just show it real quick.
Yeah, hold it up. Let's see.
Oh, it's pretty big too. I took this coming out of the subway of Shinjuku.
Shinjuku.
Dude,
that's
really good
awesome.
picture.
Rich, dude. Look
That's
at next
incredible.
level. You're good.
Yeah,
man.
you could see
That's a really good picture.
But I purposely took the shot so Godzilla wasn't in it. I wanted this to be just a straight up Japanese photo, Japan photo. So I'm gonna get
That's
this one on the
beautiful.
wall. Another one I took,
Congratulations.
which I really love, is this one at Nakano Broadway. This is right before you walk down.
Oh, that alley. That's the alley. I love
Yeah.
that alley. I
So-
love that alley. I take so many pictures of that particular alley.
Sure as
That's
shit.
fantastic.
So I found another photo on Instagram. Somebody took one almost like this, and I didn't know it.
I
until
did.
after
I'll
I
show it
got
to
home.
you.
No, it's not. Yeah, show me yours. But a lot of people take photos.
I've
of
got a
this
day and a night of that too, Rich. Like,
Yeah,
because I love,
so
I just love
these
that.
are my
particular-
shots. These are photos I took.
Beautiful.
That's cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I have another one
Dude.
that I framed. It was the first photo I took once I got into Tokyo in 2024. Just on the street. David, I think you were the first one to message me, like, "Are you in Tokyo?"
Yeah, it probably
and it
was.
just
Like,
some
wait a
ramen
minute,
shop
wait,
on my
what's up?
left. But I got that frame. That's downstairs. So yeah, I'm excited to get that stuff.
Please,
Anyway,
please
that's-
post these. I'd love to see them like.
I gotta get them
stuff
up.
like that. That's
But yes.
great. That's amazing.
Cool.
Congrats.
Yeah, I've got nothing new lately. I did find a cool shop. Me and my wife went to Rehoboth in Delaware. So if you're ever in Delaware, beautiful Delaware, and you go to the Rehoboth Beach, there's a shop called Fun for All. There it is. But he had a ton of Bandai stuff, and he had some of these little guys. So I figured, what the hell? I'll open this live on, and it could be cool, or it could be horribly disappointing.
What is those little guys? What is that?
It's like a blind box,
Okay.
but it looks like a ramen cup.
I was gonna say, I thought you were about to make ramen noodles again.
No, let me see.
Coffee, coffee and ramen. It's the next.
It's
iteration
silver.
Of the
So,
show.
oh, cool. All right, there we go. So I got a Jet Jaguar eating ramen.
Oh,
eating
that's
ramen.
cute. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cute.
I think it's
Yeah,
got a
that's
guy who that's the. I think it was created by the founder of Funko. He like left and did that.
Oh, really? So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Rocky Moto.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah,
cool
so
little
that's cool.
Jaguar.
Yeah, that's actually pretty neat. I should have grabbed like 3 more. Now I'm annoyed. Oh well, next time. Next time. There's always next time. Before we get out of here, real quick, just because this is MonsterVerse related, I think the consensus among most of us here is that the MonsterVerse is sort of meh. Nev, I know you're a MonsterVerse fan.
and
David, I know you are not a MonsterVerse fan. I think the rest of us are sort of in the middle. So is anybody other than me watching Monarch?
yeah, we talked about it though.
And you don't like it, Nev?
Honestly,
Nev,
I
you
want to
hate it.
watch it. I want people are liking it. Are liking this season. No, you're
Yeah.
not liking it, Nev. What's
No, Nev
people are
hates
digging it.
Started off really good, and then it's just like it does the typical Marvel formula where like it teases you at the end with like maybe half a second of monster or like a couple seconds of monsters spread out through the episode. And I think we talked about here is like, we care about the characters in -1. I could give a flying fuck about any of the characters in Monarch.
They're pretty annoying.
Like Kurt Russell is great, and I love like the back
Yeah.
back characters. But, like these new kids, they could all burst into flames. I would not.
The 3 kids are
That's hard.
very aggravating, and it's very much like who is going to betray who this week.
They ruined the show for me.
Yeah, it would be better if it was just following Kurt Russell and Kay, who is she's in both the flashback scenes and the current scene. She's the same age because wormhole nonsense. But Wyatt Russell's great as well as Kurt Russell.
Yeah. There's just no need for like Kentaro and I forgot her name, but like there's literally no need for him whatsoever.
Is that the actress from Shogun?
No,
She's good. I heard, right?
Anna Sawai. She's good. Her character sucks, but she plays a sucky person pretty well, I guess you could say. But I like the show. I'm enjoying this season more than last season. We did finally get Godzilla in an episode, a real Godzilla, not a Godzilla dream. Although that dream was pretty cool, where he attacked Japan. But yeah, we got a monster fight finally. Kong is great in this. Kong's great in the MonsterVerse.
I do love the MonsterVerse Kong a lot.
Yeah, he's.
I
really
like the
cool.
MonsterVerse Kong. I got to say, Skull Island. I still stand by.
Now
that's my favorite movie in the series.
Now, if they're going to put him in some sort of an Iron Man spacesuit for the next movie, I might be out entirely. Which is the rumor.
That's
so
what
who
I
the
heard
hell
they're
knows?
doing.
Yeah, so who knows? But
gotta fight Space Godzilla somehow. Right?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on it because it's currently ongoing. So there you have it. So yeah, I guess that'll do her. We kept it right around an hour, which was my goal. We do have an anniversary in 2016. Shin Godzilla came out, so we got a 10-year anniversary of that we should discuss at some point on this show. So yeah, maybe we'll reconvene next month and we'll figure out something to talk about. Maybe we'll just do a collectibles focused one instead of a movie focused one. But it was good seeing y'all. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for watching. Before we go, you can click on that there. What is that called? QR code. That'll get you to Fresh Vinyl. That is for Fresh Vinyl's YouTube channel. So check him out. That is for Nev's gruesome graphics. So give him a check out. Go Godzilla Collectors Group, the Facebook group that Mike is the admin of. That is for that. That is for my YouTube channel, so if we sit down. This is for merch. If you want to get some merch for Coffee and Kaiju. And I got to get your. I don't have a Collect All Monsters one yet. Sorry, David. I'll get one for next time.
It's okay.
But
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, and if you want to check out a podcast where it is 90% Godzilla free, that is for Gen X Lounge. That is Dutch's podcast. What do we talk about on that podcast?
That's
Dutch?
your podcast. That ain't my.
Dutch, what do we talk about on that podcast, Dutch? That you host, that you made up and invented.
I'm a prisoner on that. I'm not even a Gen Xer. I got on there one time, and you're like, "Yeah, come back on week after week." And here I am.
Yeah, I tricked you. I said we're talking about Superman, and then you've never left.
You did, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
you've never left.
It's a great show. I've been on a few times. It's really fun.
David's on it.
Yeah,
David was
I'm
on
the
it.
only true Gen Xer on the show, I think, right?
No, everybody else
No,
is except for Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like 10 years behind these guys. So
Yeah,
Okay.
but so the latest episode that is currently out, David, is the one you're on. The one that comes out tomorrow, it'd be episode 63, where we do talk a little bit about -1. We also talk a lot about Captain America: Winter Soldier. At one point, Dutch falls asleep during that. So tune in, because it's obviously a stimulating conversation.
I did not fall asleep. What are you talking about?
Look, I don't know. It seemed like you might have been asleep. So,
I was probably just scrolling on my phone because y'all were just like talking about.
we were going on about something in that movie. I don't remember what we were talking about at that point. But anyway, thanks for everybody for tuning in, and tune in next month when we do this all again. See y'all later.
Later.
See ya.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being there.
How about some coffee?
Coffee? I like coffee.